Week 4 is here, so it's time for my favorite bets and locks of the week here every Thursday with this video. We hit our last two spread locks. This week I got Green Bay minus 6.5 going to Dallas on Sunday Night Football. And that line sitting a little too low just because the Packers lost to the Browns. They did outplay the Browns. The Browns also have a very, very good defense right now. The Cowboys have very likely the worst defense in football, so a totally different matchup. Packers pissed off about last week. Cowboys are banged up, especially with CeeDee Lamb. Green Bay's going to be able to throw on them. You know, Josh Jacobs going to be able to run on them, and their defense is legit. People are kind of forgetting that right now. The defense performed last week, even though they lost. Micah Parsons' revenge game. He's going to get after Dak. When they don't have CeeDee Lamb, that offense looks lost at times. And they're relying on, looking at last week, keeping that run game in the game, but they got down by so much, they couldn't run the ball anymore. Doesn't look like you can run the ball too well on the Packers either, so everything points towards the Packers. I think they're going to win huge. I think this could be an absolute ass beating, even though it's in Dallas Sunday Night Football. A bet that you have to take advantage of here is the Ravens minus 0.5 in the first half, a first half line here. I'm surprised about that. The Ravens are minus 2.5 in the game, and obviously less in the first half, but they've been playing great in the first half, and the Chiefs have not been playing great in first halves of games. They're making their adjustments in the second half. The Ravens this year and over the years tend to choke even if they still pull the game off in the second half. So I like the Ravens in this game in general, but that first half line just being under one is worth a shot there. I feel like Derrick Henry's going to run well in this game. The Chiefs haven't looked as physical as usual on defense. And the Chiefs' offense is a little concerning right now. And the Ravens' defense has struggled, but against the Bills and the Lions' elite offenses. So Ravens first half bet looks interesting, and picks I'm leaning with. I like Seattle tonight. They should win that game as they are healthier and better and have had success against Arizona, Kyler Murray, and it's only at 1.5, so worth a shot. The Broncos on Monday Night Football, and they could win big against the Bengals. They can kind of figure things out on both sides of the ball in this game. And if Tristan Wirfs plays, I like the Buccaneers plus 3.5. If he plays, I think they're going to win the game, but it's a kind of a toss-up. So some good picks against the spread this week, starting with Green Bay minus 6.5 on Sunday Night Football. Don't forget to subscribe, turn notifications on. Check out our other Week 4 videos. It'd be much, much appreciated. Straight up locks 9-2 for these on the year so far in this video. The Broncos against the Bengals Monday Night Football. The Bengals are not a very good team at all with Jake Browning. The defense is pretty brutal. The Broncos have them outmatched on both sides of the ball in the altitude at home. Green Bay, we broke down against the Cowboys. Cowboys without Lamb, they have a terrible defense. The Packers would be able to run or throw on them. Packers defense is very much legit, close to elite, and they have Micah Parsons in the revenge game. Lions against the Browns. We learned the Browns can be a little sneaky, but it's a pretty brutal matchup for them because they're going against an elite offense. They can slow down, but they can't stop. The Lions defenses are also playing very well, so the Browns offense is not going to be able to do much on them. The Lions have had success against the man coverage defenses they played, not the Packers zone. The Browns play as much man as anyone, so the Lions will win this game at home inside. The Bills against the Saints. Shocking line of 16.5. That might be a little too much, but the Bills will win this game. The Saints are the worst team in football right now. I do see Kamara having a little success, but they're just not going to be able to keep up with Josh Allen and the boys. Chargers against the Giants. It could be a trap game because it's a tough game plan. Jackson Dart gets thrown in there, and the offense, the play style, the play calls, the play book might change a little bit, right? So the Chargers don't have film to really go off of, but it's just a far better team. The Giants are brutal, stop and run. Chargers will take advantage of that. Justin Herbert's playing like an MVP right now. That defense is tough. It's tough going against a rookie quarterback in his first start. So the Chargers, maybe this game's sneaky and stays close for some reason, but they'll find a way to win this game. So 5 locks I like straight up. Parlay options, more of these and bets, especially for Thursday Night Football coming to our Twitter. I could tweak some parlays. I'm thinking about adding the 49ers in there, but just waiting on some injuries specifically at the receiver position for them. But some that I put together right now, early window on Sunday, plus 242. Take the Bills, drop it down to 5.5. They should win by, at the very least, 2 field goals, 6 points. The Lions, same situation. I'm tempted to say the Lions are going to cover their line, which actually was 7.5 at one point, but it went up to 10. So I think the Lions will win big. It's just a really good matchup for them, bad matchup for the Browns. And then the Buccaneers plus 8.5. I feel like if Wirfs plays, they could win that game. But if you bring that up to 8.5, I don't see how they lose by more than 8 points. If guys get banged up, maybe they can lose by a little bit here. And the Chargers money line. Wouldn't take the Chargers spread, but you drop it down and just pick them straight up to win. They should handle business with that good defense and that running game. But Herbert's playing like an MVP on top of it. That running game should go off, led by Amari Hampton in this game. And then a late window pick. I talked about how much I love the Ravens' first half line of 0.5. They're playing much better in the first half compared to the second, and the Chiefs are the opposite. Chiefs been making adjustments. The Ravens kind of blow games at the end. Just based on how things have gone for both teams this season and how things have gone in the past for both teams, this looks like it's worth a shot, and you can pair just one game with it and get pretty decent odds. I like the Rams to beat the Colts. You got to take some risk here. You could throw the Niners in there instead. Thought about the Raiders as a possibility there, but the Rams, a tougher task for the Colts compared to what they have played. It's going to be in LA, so they got to make that trip. I think the Rams offense has a really, really solid day, and their defense seems to be a little bit improved this year as well. So that one may be worth a shot. Again, want to throw the Niners in here, even if it's an alternate line. I'm kind of waiting on some of those receivers like Pearsall, Jennings. They haven't practiced yet at the time of me talking, but some decent parlay options for you guys. Best anytime touchdown picks. Quite a few this week. I love Amari Hampton this week. Now the lone back for the Chargers since Najee Harris went down. Playing against the worst run defense in football. Hampton kind of broke out last week. Just getting going. He's going to run all over the Giants. He'll score. Josh Jacobs, obviously been a touchdown machine going against a really bad defense in the Cowboys. We know the Packers will be in scoring position a ton. He should find the end zone. Derrick Henry. It's an angry Derrick Henry after the fluky fumbles. So he'll get going. I noticed the Chiefs kind of got out physicaled by young Cam Scadaboo, so I think Henry could have a solid day for the Ravens against the Chiefs. Ashton Genty, a lot of complaints that he hasn't been getting going. The Raiders haven't used them enough. They're being patient, but they got to start winning football games now, so now's the time to unleash them, and they're playing a very brutal run defense in the Bears. J.K. Dobbins solidified himself as that key number one, like legit number one running back for the Broncos, like far and away their best guy, it feels right now. Going against that weaker Bengals defense, they allowed a lot to Jordan Mason last week. Christian McCaffrey, no rushing touchdown yet. That's not going to last. He scored a receiving touchdown. He could do that again, but the rushing touchdown's coming. He's the key go-to guy for the 49ers against the Jags. And Kyren Williams, if they're anywhere near, obviously, the goal line or the red zone, he's the go-to guy for the Rams. But I like the first four for sure. Then they're kind of in order there. And the plus options, some intriguing ones here. Tonight, JSN, obviously Sam Darnold's favorite target, a legit slot receiver. The Cardinals have actually given up a lot of opportunities through the air to receivers. They're also very thin on corners. They're running out of corners, including their star slot corner, Garrett Williams, and JSN is one of the better slot receivers in the game. So, I mean, he's going to be open. He's going to get the ball a lot. He's going to be targeted a lot throughout the entire field. Plus 165 is really good value there. Alvin Kamara, I like to think he scores because the Bills' run defense and just in general going against running backs just hasn't been great. So the Saints' only shot in this game is Alvin Kamara, so he should have some opportunities. I guess those opportunities shrink a little bit if the Saints get down huge early, which is a possibility. A couple Packers receivers. One of these guys or both will score against the Cowboys. The worst pass defense, one of the worst I've ever seen in my life in the Cowboys. The Packers will have, we talked about it with Josh Jacobs, will have plenty scoring opportunities. They're really trying to get Matthew Golden going. They're going to really try. This is an opportunity against this bad pass defense, but it's not like he hasn't played or he hasn't got going himself. He's playing. He's getting open, a lot of times wide open, and for some reason, Jordan Love can connect with everyone, and he's just barely missing Matthew Golden. There's really not a reason for it. It's just been unlucky. I think they get him again, with this in this Cowboys game. Plus 225, worth a shot. Romeo Doubs is targeted, a little bit more, especially on those fade routes near the goal line. So maybe you could argue he has a little bit of a better opportunity. Pretty good odds there as well. And Travion Henderson, maybe worth a shot. It's been super underwhelming. His usage and him as a runner hasn't really been that great, but hasn't had the chance to get going. He's been pretty solid as a pass catcher. Going against the Panthers, who are typically really bad against running backs. They're maybe a little better this year than last year. On top of that, we have their other two running backs combined, Stevenson and Gibson, for 3 fumbles last week. And Travion Henderson's got to be their best back. So I feel like they're going to trust the other guys less and start to unleash him a little bit more. Has the opportunity to score on the ground, through the air. Good matchup. The more I'm talking about that, the more I like it. It's just a little risky because they may be stubborn and they may just go Stevenson still on the goal line or still give Gibson some carries. So that's where it's a little risky. We'll have more bets come game day, Thursday, Sunday, on our Twitter or Patreon. So check those out. Links pinned in the comments. College football pick of the week. We called Michigan last week. Our betting card for our Twitter subscribers and Patreon members was 100% perfect last week. Had a parlay, had other bets. More of that still to come on there. But this week, I'll go with Indiana minus 7.5 at Iowa. A lot of people calling this a trap game for Indiana. It's at Iowa, so it could be a little risky, but I like it. I like Indiana, the way they're playing, the way they look this year. I think they look much better than last year. I think they just had an easy schedule last year. The way they rolled Illinois, who's typically a good team, typically a good defense. They got great quarterback play. They can run the ball, a lot of good receivers. Defense is playing very well. And I feel like this line is a little lower. Yeah, it's a little risky because you have to cover more than a touchdown, but I feel like it's a little lower than expected because last week for Iowa, they showed they actually have more of an offense. They typically have no offense. They showed they have more of an offense last week. My problem with that is Rutgers' defense is really bad. Really, really bad. And Iowa's defense is typically locked down, shut down, but they don't really look that way right now. It could be a decent defense, but Indiana's just got too much on offense, and their defense is good enough just to slow a bland Iowa offense down. Look at what happened with the Iowa State game. A lot of defense, a field goal game. Indiana is just so much more explosive. So I'll take Indiana winning this game by, I think, more than 2 touchdowns is what's going to happen. But yeah, a lot of people saying trap game. There's a couple other games I strongly considered putting up here. We'll have those for Twitter subscribers and Patreon members, but I've been doing pretty well with these college football picks since last year. So Indiana, interesting one this week. So back-to-back weeks with a Big Ten pick. We'll see what happens on Saturday. A lot of good games. I have a pick for Penn State, Oregon that I feel pretty good about. Again, it will be for Twitter and Patreon subscribers. But we're back every single Thursday with this video. We have score predictions, picks against spread for every single NFL game. That video already up. We have our weekly pick show, which was a hell of a time. It's always a hell of a time, but this past one was one of my favorite episodes ever. So check all that out. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.